So, hello everyone. So today we have Arshia with us. So she's going to talk about that how to crack the marketing as a specialization in your B school, be it your SIPs or for the final placements. How to prepare for it, how to prepare a CV for it, what will be the different shortcuts or tricks he is going to tell you. So Arshia is currently studying at IIM Calcutta. So she is currently interning with American Express. Prior to that, she was she has done as engineering from Jadavpur University, and she was the gold medalist there also. And she has cleared the CAT in 2023 with like 99.82 percentile. And believe me or not, she has got 99.94 percentile in QA, right, Arshia?
Yeah. So not 2023. I cracked CAT in 2022. I joined AM Calcutta in 2023. So I scored a 99.94 in quants and 99.85 in DLR. And yeah,
Yeah.
um, round about 82 percentile in VRC. So, yeah.
Okay. So over to you, Arshia. So first, in the first part, we will discuss very things like how you cracked the AM Calcutta, right? Few of the experiences from your side, and for the people who are watching us. So if they stay with us, so Arshia will be telling us that how to make the best use of LinkedIn. So for the people who don't know about Arshia, just go and check on LinkedIn. So we always make this. I'll not say joke, but this is the best part about her. Like, if I count my uh, my followers and Shubham Ranka's search follower and all the mentors and Prepzone, right? So Akshaya's follower are more than that. So if you there, you are going to know like, how to grow as a like people always say about that how to network, right? But Arcia is the example that she has grown the her network like without any help, I think, right? So she is going to tell, but at the end, so if you stay back, you are going to get those tricks and hacks, whatever you call it. So just stay back and just listen to us, our conversation. It is going to help you throughout your B school journey. Not only B school, it will also going to help you in your CAT journey also. So Arsha, how did you prepare for CAT and how you cracked CAM Calcutta? Very brief about that.
Yeah, sure. So I actually gave CAT twice. So I started preparing roundabout in 2021 mid and in the first half. And at that time, so VRC is one section that has always been my weakest section. So as advised by I think all the mentors that we need to start reading whoever has not been in touch with VRC, right? Or hasn't had enough of reading skills. So I initially started with focusing on the weaker section the most, and then uh, I enrolled myself in a few coaching, etc. So I got the material also. And so apart from the study materials, I focused on a phase-wise preparation. I broke down initially to solving the materials, then to solving the previous year mocks, the previous year CAT paper, the mocks that I bought. So initially they would be around about 1 to 2 mocks per every 2 weeks, and then it would be more concentrated to one or more than one mock per week. And so as you people also might be knowing that like CAT is of three sections, right? So ultimately your like the scale score or the raw score, it will depend upon each of the three sections and how much you prioritize that. So towards the end, I think after giving the mocks and after changing my strategies, what I realized was to focus more on my strengths, which were DLR and quants, and less on VRC. And that to some extent reflected on the original day also, even though I did panic uh, in the VRC section, but sort of I uh, like gathered all my courage because I knew that DLR and quants had to be compounded to the maximum level in order to maximize my percentile. So yeah, that was sort of my journey.
So
Yeah.
Arshia, can you discuss more about like how you cracked your PI? What were the different aspects of your PI preparation also after your CAT and
Yeah.
before entering to the AMCAL?
Yeah. So actually, many people reach out to me whether they should, how they should, build their profile before CAT. But I always say that try to till the CAT exam, till the D day, try to work on CAT itself, and then you will have sufficient 2 3 months at least to prepare for your PIs. So how I did was that I actually demarcated the entire PI into three, four parts. One would be about knowing about me. So that in that again, each and every institution that I have worked with, each and every place that I have been to, primarily I've been to Kolkata. So about the history of Kolkata, about the history of West Bengal, everything from the nitty gritty about me. Then I started knowing about my undergrad subjects, about 11, 12 maths, because you might be knowing in some interviews maths is also asked, like in Ahmedabad, Calcutta interviews, they do ask maths. Then the third would be to know about the HR questions. That would be like my strengths and weaknesses, my long term, short term goals, why I do want to do MBA, basic gist of my SOP, all that stuff. And fourth would be the GK and current affairs. So again, I have been weak in GK and current affairs because even though I did read newspapers, but that was more had to I mean that had to do more with VRC rather than me accumulating the skills, I mean the knowledge. So regarding GK and current affairs, again I had to note down each and everything, the important current affairs that were going, prepare it just on what is the impact of it as well as what is my opinion on what is happening. So like in my time, Ukraine Russia war was a huge thing. So most of the questions in some of the PIs that they were asking were to like know about my view on India taking a neutral stand in the Ukraine-Russia war. So that is how I demarcated my preparation, and I think most of the questions that were asked were, it fell in each of these buckets, or they were an accumulation of these. So more or less, it was a smooth process.
Okay, so now we can move to your like MBA experience so far. So we know about Joka, right? So you will be the best person who can tell that what has happening in Joka. So people say that what is happening in Joka that stays in Joka, right? But now you are here, so you can tell something about Joka culture also, right? So how is your experience so
Yeah.
far?
I think it has been a really, really good experience. So, just a fun fact that Joka and the Calcutta campus is just located 20-25 minutes away from my home. So, that has always been a great thing to just get back to home on weekends. Moreover, like in Joka, there's this culture of leaving no one behind. So, like even starting from the seniors to the juniors, the alumni, everyone has a sort of very strong network, and we can reach out to anyone in case of any issues. May it be even during our placements, it can be even during our exams or whatever. And I think the experience has been really good. I have been a part of many clubs since the very start, and I recently in the laterals also joined the music club since I'm deeply passionate about music. So yeah, so that has been a really good experience. The campus is really good. Uh, it might not seem good to some people if you compare it to maybe Ahmedabad or Bangalore, but it is quite. I mean, we call it the campus of 7 weeks, so it has been a quite good experience. For people who are joining this year, I would say that for the first 5-6 months, the time could be very frustrating. It has been the same for me too, as well as for most of the others, because you have to prepare for your end midterms, end terms of your first trimester, as well as you'll have to do your SIP preparation simultaneously. So, and as well as you'll be a part of some clubs or student council or whatever. So it does get a bit tough to manage everything. But I think after the SIP gets over, I think everyone, you get enough time for yourself to explore the curriculum or explore other things at campus. So yeah, I would just request and suggest everyone to take a pause at least till 5-6 months, and to take focus on both their acads as well as on SIB preparation, and to stay strong, because I mean everyone has to go through it. So yeah, this time should also pass. That would be my suggestion.
So, Arshia, we get a lot of doubt like after results are out, we have 2 to 3 months in hand, right? And people
Yeah.
generally don't have something to do. So, what according to you the best use of this 2 months, right? And what you have done in those, like when after getting the CAL results and waiting for the B school to start, right? And what according to
Mhm.
the best use of this time?
Yeah, so during that time, the first thing that I did was, again, as I mentioned, to sort of strategize on how I will go ahead in the PIs. So I sort of in my percentile and my profile, I was expecting calls from all of the B schools. And as you might be knowing, each of the B schools have their own way of asking questions. Like Calcutta and Ahmedabad, they focus a bit on maths for most of the interviews, and then some interviews they focus, like Bangalore, etc. They focus mostly on their SOP and on your work experience. So like I sort of demarcated, and then in some like FMS, Indore, etc., you get extempore also, right? So Shillong has GD. So I sort of demarcated each of the like my preparation according to the B schools that I would be interviewing for, and starting with my like improving GK current affairs. So I used to write everything. I used to write the current affairs in gist. I collated sort of a list of round about top 20 current affairs that I used to get through newspapers or through any articles online or through the YouTube also. There are several good channels on YouTube also. Apart from that, I collated like at least 150 to 200 VAT topics of previous years that were asked in the previous year MBA interviews. Apart from that, I again divided the preparation according to what I have done throughout my life, the institutions that I have been a part of, about their history, about the places that I've been to, about that history, my undergrad, my work experience, what I have learned. Because in some interviews like Ahmedabad, etc., you also get questions like, if given a chance, what would you have done differently if you would have had to revise your work experience? This was one question that was also in their application form in my time, I remember. So you actually have to put a lot of thought into what you've done, whether it actually makes sense for you, and like how much do you think that whatever you've done will contribute to what you want to be in future in the that you're mentioning in the long term and short term goals through an MBA. So if you are able to convince them that you are an able candidate and you are able to handle pressure, because most of the most of the mock PIs or the PIs also, they will try to test you, put you on a spot and grill you that whether you are able to handle pressure or not, that whether you will be able to handle the pressure that a B school entails. So I think that would be the key thing that was in my mind when I prepared. And even though during the interviews there have been a lot of cases when I didn't know one particular GK question, or I couldn't answer anything, but I still sort of remained confident and kept a smile that okay, I don't know this, but I will definitely get back to this after my interview. So they also look for whether it's not possible for you to know everything, but whether you are willing to work upon your weaknesses. It is something that also puts you in a good, I mean, in a good light. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Archie. Thanks for that. So now results are starting flowing in, right? So I think A results are out today. And so
Yeah.
now people will have 2 months from here, or maybe 45 days or so. So what according to you the best use of this time, what people should do and how they can best utilize this time?
Yes. So during this time, ideally, like what have been advised by my seniors, also that because the entire once the B school starts, it will be so hectic that you need to ideally chill and take a pause and spend time with your family. But I think if people are at all interested in doing something, then first of all, for people with engineering backgrounds, with a non-finance, non-commerce exposure, I would suggest you to at least go through some basic concepts of finance or economics. There are many books on macroeconomics. These are the basic subjects that are usually taught across B schools in the first year, right? So just I would suggest you to check the curriculum of the B schools you've got a call from, and just specifically focus on these subjects, finance, economics, because the people who have had a prior experience, a prior exposure to these during their undergrad or work ex, they already have a sort of edge, which I strongly believe and I have seen. So I would strongly recommend you to go through any online material you get, go through online articles. Secondly, I would suggest you to at least get the hang of going through case studies, or like to have the patience of reading it to the end and to be able to register what is written and to comprehend the data, whatever is there, and to come up sort of with your solution to the same. there's no right or wrong solution per se to a case study, but it always depends upon how logically you approach it through whatever data has been provided or whatever information has been provided in that case study. So if you can like get your hands on any Harvard Business HBR case studies and just try to read it on a broader level, try to make sense of whatever was mentioned or what the case actually wants you to do. Because at often many a times we misrepresent what is asked also in the case study. Or if you are able to comprehend the data and come up with some solution of your own using some frameworks. But then again, the frameworks, I think those would be taught in much depth later. But the basic marketing frameworks, the basic strategy frameworks, which you can always search, I think that will be a lot of a lot of help. This would be regarding your studies, right? Regarding academics, regarding your SIP preparation, I would suggest people to sort of align or start working on like how, like which domain they are specifically targeting. So for people like who are doing, maybe who want to get into finance, they can start at least enrolling for CFA, because I think ideally it will be like the results will come post the SIP prep only. But they can at least try to check out that angle. For people who are interested in marketing, extracurricular do play a huge role. So for them, I would again suggest them to at least do some short-term projects, maybe of a month, or short-term trainings that can be added to the final CV, right? Again, in extracurriculars, a lot of emphasis also is put on the pro bono activities or your social work, or whether you have done any NGO work, etc. Because starting another extracurricular all of a sudden at this point is not possible. But if you just enroll yourself or engage yourself in some NGO activities, etc., in your own capacity, then I think it would be really good, because a lot of people also have been engaged to NSS, etc., during their school activities, mostly the CBSE people. Apart from that, I think I would suggest them to maybe do a few courses. So I mean, of course, you may argue that they are not that important, but at least when it comes to putting some um, brand label on your CV, then you can do a few courses from this platform called Forage, also for the sake of learning. But you can also mention, I mean, most institutes allow it to be put on your CV also. So there's this platform called Forage where you get courses like strategy consulting by BCG. There's another course on banking, on investment banking specifically, I think by JPMC. So I think once you do those courses provided by huge brands, right, it also adds a huge value to your CV. Apart from, of course, if you do an internship there, but that is a long process and might not be feasible in that 30, in these 30 to 45 days. Apart from that, I think one thing that really makes an impact would be case comps. So there are a lot of case competitions on platforms like Unstop, etc., which is a huge buzz, at least in these schools, as well as they are open to undergrad students also. So once you enroll in these case competitions, you can form teams and you work on a problem statement together. You present it either in the form of a PPT or in the form of a PDF, depending upon the requirements of that particular case competition. And if you can actually crack it and hold a sort of national or state level position, campus level position in any particular case comp, it would really be great when it comes to your CV. So as of now, I think these are a few things that, or maybe you can start a project under any professor. But again, I think that can be that would ideally be a long term thing. But if you can and make it work, then I would suggest that mentioning any research projects or something of a maybe 1.5 to 2 months or 3 months range that you are sure you would be able to do mostly prior the MB school starts. I think that would be great when it comes to CV point of view. So I think during this time, CV building the CV would be your should be your top priority. How to prepare and everything that will anyway be sort of guided once your B school starts, and you can start now also. That is what this initiative by my Prepzone is all about. So yeah.
So if people looking to work with Arshia and us, so we have some codes for exclusive to our members who are watching us. So you can just take these codes and you'll be getting a 10% discount now. right? So if you want to enroll in a marketing workshop, so you can just use the code RCA marketing, and you'll be going to get 10% discount, right? So Arshia, I have one like question in chat. So is sales mandatory to go into marketing? And the person is asking, some companies ask for working in sales role before giving a proper marketing role. So what's your take on that?
So some companies do, but mostly the FMCG companies that I have seen, they, of course, you will be given a priority if you have sort of internship. Because I myself had two marketing internships, one from IIM Bangalore and one in another edtech. So you will be given priority when it comes to your CV shortlisting in these companies, because of course, because of your prior exposure, you know how to go ahead with such marketing roles, or you have done it prior to that. And secondly, the entire interview sort of revolves around your prior experience in marketing, on your extracurriculars, on your, they would give you sort of a situation when their business sales would be down, and ask on how you can market them and improve the sales, or or they would maybe ask you about your favorite marketing campaign and not. So people having a prior exposure, of course, it would be beneficial to them also, because they have they have been through that previously. But I don't think it is mandatory for most of the companies. For some companies, I know it is mandatory. Also, like when it comes to marketing, right, there are several roles that come. So one is in sales and marketing, as you rightly mentioned. One is in brand management, which is more on the marketing side of that particular brand. Right, for HUL, I interviewed for their Digicom interview. So for HUL, at least to mention, there's this finance, there's sales and marketing, there's Digicom. So there are many roles. For PNG, there's brand management, there's sales and marketing. So there are many roles apart from sales that you can actually prepare for, which doesn't require a sales work per se. So you can look at those roles also in the same FMCG companies.
Okay, I hope that doubt is resolved. So Rohan is asking, like, you have mentioned about the Forge platform, right? So he's
Yeah,
asking
sure.
that which will you prefer, Coursera one or the Forge?
Okay, so those two are actually quite different. For Coursera, it's mostly for people. Those are mostly educators or mentors amongst in their own capacity who are teaching the courses. When it comes to value, I think, or when it comes to knowing the skills or your knowledge, both are sort of on an equal priority. But in Forage, you get actually working professionals who have worked live in that particular course or in that particular subject. They will be teaching you and you will be getting practical examples also, or practical work to be done, like for the BCG strategy consulting that I have done in Forage, and I've mentioned it in my CV too. So that actually entails you to work on some decks, to prepare, to search for 3 4 websites and come up with your own solution to a problem based on semiconductors that they had. So that is sort of a more practical experience that you will be having. Apart from that, the second plus point that you will be having would be to actually be able to write that particular brand's name in your CV. So I think that adds a lot of value, as opposed to Coursera, where you will be able to just mention that I did this particular course. So that is mostly the domain in which you did the course, right? So yeah, I think Forage is much better compared to that. Both are for free. Coursera, some courses are paid, but yeah, you can get financial aid there also. But I think Forage would be better in this case.
Yeah, so and people, there'll be a lot of courses on, I think, Forage also and on the Coursera also. So people who are looking to like which is the best course for them, and Arshia ma'am has already done few courses. So if you want to get the proper guidance, he can guide you as he's the mentor with us. And if you enroll with us, he's going to guide you throughout the journey, that which course to do and when to do. Plus that he's also going to help in your CV review also. Right? So
Yeah.
so someone is asking that when we are going to start with a marketing workshop. So classes will be starting from 1st of May, and after that, based on your profile, you're going to get the mentor. And if you are interested in marketing, most probably you're going to get the Arshia ma'am as your mentor, right? I hope that solves your doubt. So now we can move to Like you have also already talked about this, but yeah, just to reiterate the thing that if someone wants to clear the SIPs on marketing, what are the tricks or what are the suggestions you have for them? So you already talked few things, but if you want to add something.
Yes. So for marketing again, it is a very common myth that it focuses a lot on your extracurriculars, which is true to some extent, that it focuses less on PRs and more on your extracurriculars. But I think it for marketing, the profile has to be balanced as a whole. See, regarding your academics or whatever you have done, you have had your previous experience, etc., you can't really do anything, but you can actually engage yourselves in, like I mentioned, in a few short-term trainings, in a few short-term projects, etc., to enhance your profile, because they would more like to see how much of a all-around person you are, not only just how much of a topper you are. So apart from your studies, apart from your academics achievements, whatever, you need to equally focus upon your extracurriculars, any, if there are any fests or freshers you've organized in your undergrad. Apart from that, maybe if there's any um, like I mentioned, any NGO or it's NGO or pro bono activities that you've been a part of, that you can do now also, right? You can enroll in any such social activities now also. Apart from that, a lot of people mention their hobbies too. Like some people who, not everybody has to be certified or professionally trained, but you can always mention that you like maybe cooking or whatever, and the interview will always be focused towards that, also towards anything that sort of demarcates you from others. Like I actually learned karate during my school time, during my junior school, but I and yoga in my senior school. So I knew that karate, yoga, these are something that actually separate you from the others, especially being a girl, because there are not many profiles that will have the same thing mentioned in their CV, right? So that was something that was asked during me in the final interview also. So, and I mean, that would be a good starting point for you to start the interview or to talk upon in depth, if you actually know about that stuff, or you can actually research about that also after mentioning it on your CV. So that would be one thing that I would strongly suggest. Apart from that, I think when it comes to preparation, as I mentioned, there are basic. So in marketing, again, digital marketing is a huge space in itself. There are some companies like HUL, Digicom, etc., which recruit specifically for this, for the digital commerce sort of angle. And for brand management, sales and marketing, those mostly focus on like baseline marketing roles. So what you can actually do is to actually go through some marketing frameworks, to read a few case studies on how they have. So on the internet you will also get the solutions to a few case studies based on marketing. So there are a few like very famous case studies that you can actually go through in HBR, in their official site, and you can read the solution on how they have actually thought, how they have actually incorporated marketing strategies or frameworks in order to improve their marketing, um, uh, improve their brand value, or improve their sales, or whatever be their problem statement. Apart from that, I think you in your personal capacity can also search for a few brands on how they have campaigned. There are a very there are very famous marketing campaigns by some brands like Dove, PNG, etc. So you can actually go through their marketing campaigns and how they have targeted their primary customers, which are um, mostly household females in case of PNG, and the women in case of both working as well as household in case of Dove. So you can actually go through their campaigns and how they work, and then come up with your own answers, because in the final interview they'll not only ask you about the theoretical stuff, but they would also focus more on how you are able to apply those frameworks in the practical scenario. Like they will maybe mention one of their products whose sales are falling, and then they will ask you to suggest marketing tips in order to prevent it from happening, or how you would tackle in that situation, how you would tackle, how you would provide it in a on your social media platforms, etc. So these are few basic statements or basic questions that are asked in almost all marketing interviews. So yeah, I think this is a good starting point to start with preparation for your SIPs.
So, Ashia, Navya is asking that where she can have a look at these case studies, any website in
So
particular.
yeah, you can actually search for Harvard Business Review cases, and then they would automatically suggest you a few cases. I mean case studies. You can search for marketing ones, strategy ones. Depending upon that, the case studies would be different. I could also share a few of the case studies that have been taught in our that are taught across B schools in the first year, especially in case of marketing. When it comes to textbook, I think Philip Kotler is taught across all the B schools. So you can go through Philip Kotler's book also, which is for the basic. I mean, for the basics of marketing. And in case studies, you can search Harvard Business Review cases, and you can go through the case studies. Also, go through the solutions. Also, you get them online, or maybe you'll have to take might have to take a few subscriptions also. But yeah, mostly you'll get it online for free.
Okay, so someone has asked that which are the premium roles that are offered at like B schools in a sales and marketing, and he's also interested in knowing those company names also. So, can you name few of the roles as well as the companies?
Yeah, so sales and marketing is itself one of the role. So sales and marketing, then there's for HUL, I would suggest. So Hindustan Unilever Limited. This is a very famous FMCG brand that comes for the marketing roles. Sales and marketing is one. Digicom is one. Finance is one. So it's not that you if you aim to get into this FMCG brand, you can get into it without marketing also. If you have a finance background, you can go into it also. These are the three roles that comes into most of the B schools. Apart from that, you can actually go into HUL through their case comms, as well as through there's this HUL change makers, which I think the deadline is already over, or it might be in the process. So just check into it once. For PNG, again, there's brand management, there's sales and marketing. So sales and marketing would be more related to their product. So maybe they'll give you one particular product and ask you to, focus more on their sales or focus more on it. Not companies, but the exhaustive list of institutes where these are offered. Mostly, again, in most the top six IIMs, you will get both HUL, PNG, as well as the other companies. But in the BBIMs also, I've seen that some people do get into it. I mean, these one or two of these roles do come in the BBIMs. For FMS, XLRI, etc., again, all the companies primarily would come depending upon their intake also, and also depending upon which institute goes first in that particular cycle. So every year there's this sequence of institutes which where the companies go first and then second according to the timing in which they the SIPs are held in that particular institutes. So I think mostly the top B schools they would be having, and even in the baby IIMs I've seen, and the non IIMs I've seen some one or two of the roles would come in most of the FMCG companies. So yeah, what I was mentioning was that like for PNG, there's more on the brand management side on about PNG in general, and there's about sales and marketing on some particular product, etc. Then thirdly, there are other companies also like maybe Reckitt, Asian Paints. These companies also they come for the marketing roles. So yeah, but the top two FMCG companies in case of marketing, if you ask, then it would be HUL and PNG for sure.
Yeah. So, Arshia, we also see a lot of people say that if you are a fresher, then only you can make it to the sales and marketing role, right? So, what's your take on that? So, people having work ex, can they also land into the sales and marketing roles?
So again, this question is actually a bit dicey, but again, it is my personal opinion that being a fresher, it sometimes it might have an edge over work ex people in case of marketing. But I have, in my personal opinion, from my batch only, I have seen people having 3-4 years of work experience getting into um, such marketing roles. So I don't think that being a fresher is that important. I think what they uh, mostly focus on is that whether you have a strong marketing grip. If you have a prior marketing experience, be it internships, be it projects, be it a work experience, it is a very good factor for you behind choosing them. But apart from that, might be in some cases there are preferences, but mostly they mostly focus on your extracurriculars or how good of a marketing manager you will be rather than how many years of work experience you have. So that is a personal take, but again, views might vary on that front.
So there is follow-up question that are premium advertising roles are offered at IIMs? I don't know what they are asking,
At
but yeah.
least in AM Calcutta, premium advertising roles were not offered. I think some in some companies like Disney, uh, etc., they do offer several roles, and advertising does fall under it. But yeah, I don't know what you mean by premium advertising roles, but advertising roles are offered in by some companies like Disney. I mentioned. Then there's, I think, Star India or Star Bharat. They also came for advertising. So yeah, I think I don't know what you mean by premium, but advertising roles they are offered. Yes.
Okay. So Arshia, one like few questions more. So, how are you feeling to be mentor at my Prepzone?
Yeah. So I actually started, venturing into this mentorship initiatives since last year itself, and I think I got to know about my prep zone during my PI prep only because they have this guarantee that until and unless you convert 1B school, you get the entire refund or something. So I and a lot of my friends as well as my seniors, they have studied in my prep zone during their PI prep. Being now a mentor here, I mean, it's nothing short of grateful, I would say. And yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this front of mentoring people. It's not that, again, many people would say that like it is just giving gyan to people, but I think it's more on guiding them on how I have done or how I have been through the journey, and like the mistakes that I have made, and to make people aware that maybe how they can improve it without making the same mistakes, or to sort of contribute to them being having their journey more enriched rather than making the same uh, mistakes again and again. And that is what comes from experience, I think. I'm just a first year, I mean, I'm just done with my first year, so I'm not saying that I'm experienced and all, but maybe in order to guide in some way, that was my intention at the very start. And being a part of this initiative is really great. On behalf of my prep zone only, I would like to say.
So the person was saying that he was asking about the publicist group or the ONM, Ogilvy and Mantle. So do these companies visit the AMCAL?
No, both of these companies don't.
Okay. So Karan is asking that what is product marketing? So
So it is basically they'll assign you typically under these FMCG brands. Like for example, if we take HUL, right? So they have their products in different segments. Like it can be lifestyle, groceries, etc., etc. Right? So you will be typically assigned one particular product, be it in interviews or during your internship, and then you'll be asked more about how you can actually enhance their sales, or maybe in some particular demographics or one particular segment of people, you are not able to reach them or tap into their market. So what would be your suggestion, whether to increase the prices or lower the prices, or to improve the uh, the quality of that particular product, or whether you want to do cross selling or upselling. So these are the few things that they would assign you one particular product, and based on that particular product, based on their its target market, you will have to check what strategies you would implement based on whatever, like it might be on, if the sales is decreasing, if you want to increase the sales, what strategies you would want to do, like so on and so forth.
Okay, I think this helps, Karan. So, as promised, so now we came to the last part of this conversation. So, now Arshia, can you tell me something? Tell everyone that how you had grown so much on LinkedIn. What are the tricks, hacks, whatever you have? So,
Yeah, I think before that, Karan has another question. What kind of roles are offered, if there are any, and what firms are these? So, Karan, as I mentioned, there are some not for FMCG, software product companies, SaaS or otherwise, product marketing in these companies. It is not product marketing, it is product management. That is another domain in itself that those software companies come from. So, Prodman is another domain in itself, and that would be basically more of your technical expertise, and a bit of marketing also. So that, so they would maybe say, for example, Uber is one platform, right? So they would give you one problem statement, and they would ask you to make changes to their app or to their software in general, and then how can you improve sales in one particular demographic. So there you can, actually go through their interface and suggest changes based on your prior experience, or based on like how you have faced difficulties using the Uber app, things and things like that. So that is product management. Product marketing is different, management is different. What you are asking, I think, is product management.
yeah, so his main question lies on the product management marketing. So product marketing manager roles is more interested. So those roles are mainly in the IT or SaaS based firm. So for that we'll be having a session on coming weekends. So Karan, then you can ask this, or maybe you can, if you enroll with us, then you'll be told everything about the product marketing, product management. So if you want to land in those roles, you can join the product management workshop with us.
Yeah.
So, Arshia, now you can tell us about your LinkedIn journey. So that is the most interesting
Yes.
part. That's why I kept it at the end so that people will engage with us more.
Yeah, so I actually started writing on LinkedIn last year after I got into Calcutta. So the first day, it was, I think, 11th of June, 10th or 11th of June, when we were shifting to our respective hostels. And that day, I thought of writing one post about, how have been my journey so far, how like sort of like how grateful I have been, because regarding CAT, I am that is such an exam that I'm really like more than scoring, more than the scoring part. I'm deeply passionate about how like good that exam is, because it is less focused on your skills and more focused on uh, practice and things like DLR, quants, etc. I am really those are the things that actually test your thinking ability, and so that was sort of what interested me towards CAT at the very first stage. So for LinkedIn, initially, again, like most of you, even I was pretty much bogged down by how much successful other people are, and so I started writing sort of about my journey. I thought that I would just put one post about my IIM Calcutta joining, and I'll leave. But I think after that, like things went down, since CAT was also coming around the corner. I started writing a bit of CAT content, and then related to how things work at IIM Calcutta, um, some of my experiences there, so that like there are many people who have calls. Even in my case, I had, even though I did have calls from A, B, C, FMS, but I didn't convert A and B at the end. I converted C and FMS. So for me, I think choosing between these two would have been would was a task, because again, in FMS there's the ROI that everyone talks about, but then in C, it was firstly very close to my home, and secondly, it has that IIM tag that mostly people talk about, right? So I actually had to talk to a lot of people to actually come up with a conclusion, like where I like what would be the perfect fit for me, which B school. So my primary intention was to guide people amongst mostly the B school aspirants, like how things at IIMs work, about their CAT preparation, about my journey, about my strategies that I followed. And slowly and steadily, if you sort of post relevant content, and if you post good content which most people will be able to relate to, like since I mentioned that VRC was my weak section, a lot of people reach out to me because there's this cliched word, I don't know how much it's true, but for engineers, VRC has been a very weak section throughout. So uh, I could relate to a lot of people, and I think through this relatable content and engaging content, I would say to some extent, but also what actually would help them and what you have actually done in your life rather than what is correct. I think that was something that many people could relate to, and hence many people reached out to me also after that. uh, yeah, I think regarding number of followers, that is the second important thing. I think first important thing would be to actually get to know about a lot of people, about how, so I actually also got to know about how the struggles of a lot of people, the hardships that they go through apart from their regular work and preparing from for cat. There are many people that reach out to me through TopMate, also through my DMs, also through Insta also, and that also at least led me to put another post on my journey, on my like health journey since 2017-18. So yeah, I think that was my LinkedIn journey. I don't really follow any such marketing tips, tricks, anything of that sort, and I didn't expect to gain so much. I mean, so many not followers, but gain so much love from the aspirants also, and so much curiosity from their end as to how things work at IIMs, because for many years it has been glorified as to be sort of the best placement agency, that once you get in, your life is settled, that you'll be able to hear from most of the other people. But I think to give reality checks at times is also very important. Not everything is meant for everyone. So yeah, if you are really
Yeah.
passionate about MBA and you really want to go into such managerial roles after graduation or post graduation, then I think this would be the perfect place to be.
So I'm also interesting, or we are also interested in knowing that how frequently we should post, daily basis or every 2 3 days, weekly basis. So what's your experience so far?
So now I don't have as such any schedule. Daily basis, I don't think it works as much. I've tried that also once, but what happens is that so not all of your followers would be online in one day, right? So for your particular post to gain reach to to a certain fraction of your audience would take round about 2 to 3 days. So I think keeping a gap of at least 4 to 5 days, or once or maximum twice a week, it would do. Apart from that, another thing that you can do is to actually check through your stats that at what time do majority of the people they come online, majority of your followers, and to post during that time. So yeah, so mostly again it depends upon whether they are students or working professionals. Mostly on weekends or on weekdays towards the evening side, they do get the chance to come online, right? So these are the basic things that I think you can follow, but yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
guarantee that you.
So I can see a latest trend, like people are using videos and photos in the LinkedIn, right? So do you think that this really works, or this is just like, people are just using because others are also using?
Yeah, I do think it really works. But I mean, of course, it does work when it comes to gaining attention, because when a lot of things I mean, when there's a lot of curiosity on one particular topic, of course, your um, reach will increase and you will be able to reach out to a lot of people. But yeah, again, many people might they might refute that it's just taking advantage of one particular situation and for your views or whatever. But yeah, I in my personal capacity, I rarely I actually refrain from mentioning some trending topics, or I might at times repost a few posts which I think needs to reach out to a lot of people, but I try to keep my content more or less to MBA life and CAT preparation and all of that. So
Yeah. So someone is asking that what exactly you are reading to keep up with the marketing concepts.
Uh, Not exactly reading. So I try and look for videos of brands. So almost, so like for Dove only, there are multiple campaigns that keep coming up every year or every few months, right? So I, more than reading, I think in reading you can't really do more than knowing about the basic marketing frameworks, the strategies, the case studies, etc. But once you actually see the practical implications of the concepts on how brands actually market their products in order to sort of incentivize their target audience, I think that actually helps a lot, because marketing, more than theory or more than reading, it's the practical application that you'll be having, and that is tested during your internships. So yeah, I think not reading, but I would say watching how brands, the advertisements of them, uh, that is really helpful.
Okay, Archie, I think I have taken a lot of your time. So we are already like, ahead of our time or overshooting our 45 minutes limit. So thanks for your time. Thanks for taking your time on the Sunday evening. And I think it will help people to get the best use of these 2 months, and then they will become a better, crack the better, best SIPs in the on campus. So thanks for your time.
Thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure. I would also like to thank Tushar, because through Tushar only I think my Prepzone got to know about me. So I would like to thank Tushar. I would like to thank Prashant sir, Shubham sir, and everyone who are doing a great job being a part of my Prepzone. So yeah, follow their LinkedIn channels, Instagram, everywhere you can, and I hope to see some of you during the course as well. So
Thanks, Harshit. Thanks for your time.
thank you so much.